Morning sunlight spilled across the dining table where you sat, stirring milk into your coffee. Not because you liked it that way, but because Jungkook did. You wanted to match his tastes, his lifestyle, his world. Your world already revolved around him like a lovesick fool, a delusional dreamer, a wife who fell first. He stepped out dressed sharply, coat on, hair perfectly styled, and eyes fixed anywhere except on you. His presence made your heart race, even his silence felt beautiful. You smiled shyly, tapping your fingers against the mug. Good morning, honey. His jaw clenched slightly at the last word, not because he hated it, but because it terrified him how easily you called him yours, while he's still trying to process that he actually got married to a student. Marriage still felt like a chain around his neck. Eat properly before class. Short form but not unkind, that's how he replied. You brightened instantly, holding on to even the smallest softness like treasure. You leaned closer across the table, hopeful. You know, you don't have to be shy with me. You flashed a shy grin. You can call me baby or Jagia, darling, sweetheart, anything you want. You puffed your cheeks out. I'm your wife, you know. He stared at you, expression stiff, breathing uneven for the briefest second, but didn't reply, didn't deny it. He just looked. Those deep eyes of his studied you quietly, almost confused how someone could be so happy to belong to him. You fidgeted under his gaze. I like when you look at me like that. He immediately looked away, pretending to adjust his cuff. Finish your breakfast, you'll be late. You nodded, but the small sting in your chest remained. Because you never got the response you hoped for. You wanted warmth, you wanted love, you wanted him to smile and call you baby back, but Jungkook wasn't ready. Still, you whispered to yourself, too low for him to hear. I'll wait for the day you call me yours. Yet, when you glanced up, you found him watching you again, this time with eyes that looked like they were asking for patience. Eyes that almost said, I'm trying even if it doesn't look like it. You walked beside Jungkook through the university hallway, or at least tried to. Every time someone's eyes lingered too long, he stepped slightly away, widening the distance as if you were just another student. It stung a lot, but you still tried. You kept sneaking glances at him like an excited newlywed wife. Professor John? He stiffened. Don't call me like that here. You blinked innocently. Why, but you are Professor John. If you don't want me to call you that, then what should I call you? Hubby? He shot you a look, the kind that said you were dangerously cute and dangerously loud. I told you, this is college, we need distance. You nodded quickly, then took a step even closer to him. He closed his eyes for a second as if controlling himself. Ryan, sorry, I forgot. Then you giggled quietly, but you have long legs. If I stay far, I can't keep up. He almost smiled, almost. Instead, he cleared his throat and walked slower, matching your pace. It was a tiny gesture, but it made you feel like you won a battle. Groups of girls stare at him, blushes, giggles, flirty whispers. You clutched your back tighter, your heart twisted in jealousy. One of them boldly waved. Good morning, Professor. Jungkook nodded politely. You immediately copied him, waving too. Good morning. They stared at you confused. Jungkook leaned slightly toward you without looking at you. Why are you greeting them? You whispered back, because they greeted my husband. He snapped his head toward you, panicked. Not here. Your smile faltered. You stared at your shoes. Right, I forgot. I'm no one here. His steps stopped. You didn't realize at first, but he turned toward you, jaw tight. His voice dropped deeper and protective. You are not no one, but right now you are a student and I'm responsible for your future. Your breath caught, your heart softened again. So you do care. His eyes met yours just for a moment, and that moment was everything. He didn't answer with words. Instead, he gently pushed a strand of hair behind your ear before he realized what he was doing. You froze. He quickly pretended it never happened. In class, you sat in the front row because being near him gave you butterflies. He lectured about Shakespeare, voice deep and confident. Every time he looked across the class, your hand shot up enthusiastically. Yes, Ryan. I think Romeo was just like very loyal. He would never look at other girls. You glared purposely at the giggling group behind you. A couple students laughed under their breaths. Jungkook stared at you longer than he should. That's a very passionate point of view. You beamed proudly. You didn't notice jealousy prickling in his tone. A boy raised his hand next. I actually think Romeo just fell for whoever he saw first. Juliet wasn't special. Before he could finish, Jungkook's eyes darkened. He almost glared. Some feelings are not random, they are intense, they are chosen. He said it too strongly. Students exchanged looks. You stare at him, heart fluttering. Was he talking about you? He quickly went back to reading, pretending it meant nothing, but his ears were red. Classes finally ended, and you were already halfway out the college gates when you turned back to check if Jungkook was following. He walked calmly, one hand tucked in his pocket, acting like you didn't matter at all, even though you both slept under the same roof and shared a marriage certificate no one knew about. You slowed your pace and glanced sideways. Can we get ice cream on the way? You said it very softly, almost embarrassed, not expecting anything, because earlier when you once asked him to pass you the spoon at home, he had said, "You have hands, use them." So why would he care about your ice cream cravings? But surprisingly, he paused, looked at you, and then nodded once. And get in. His tone was flat, but that small action made your heart stupidly happy. You quickly got into the passenger seat, buckling up with a little hidden smile. Childhood fantasy, married to your professor. Yep, this was exactly the delusional you signed up for. He drove quietly, eyes fixed on the road, pretending he wasn't granting your silly wish. You kept sneaking glances at him. This man, who was now your husband, by fate but not by love, at least not his love. The moment the ice cream shop came into view, you unconsciously let out a tiny gasp. Here, this is it. He stopped right in front, leaned slightly toward you but didn't look at you. Stay inside, I'll get it. You blinked. He remembered your favorite flavor. You nodded and obeyed, because calling attention was the last thing you wanted. He got out, closing the door gently. You watched him walk away, tall, broad shoulders, that cold professor aura, your stupid heart already melting harder than any ice cream. Jungkook walked toward the shop when a group of loud voices called out, "John, Jungkooka." He turned, surprise flickering in his eyes. Old college friends rushed over, patting his back. They joked, laughed, reminisced, and he allowed himself a small smile. Among them was his ex also, the fellow professor he once admired. A year older, elegant, confident, her eyes widened seeing him. Cookie? He froze, that nickname scrapped through memories he didn't want to revisit. Oh my god, look at them. Parted ways but still called by nicknames. Cute. Jungkook didn't seem to be like that. Mingyu spoke. Wow, it's been a long time, man. What are you doing these days? Still single or finally dating someone? They laughed, nudged him, and Jessica? His shoulders stiffened. Inside the car, you waited 5 minutes, 10, 15. Your nervous excitement turned into worry. Why is it taking so long? You looked out the window. There he was, surrounded by smiling faces, talking, laughing, and her standing right beside him. Your breath hitched. Something painful wrapped around your chest. You stepped out. Jungkook, they all turned. He turned, but instead of warmth, you saw panic in his eyes, fear, guilt. His friends looked between you two, curious. Who is this? One of your students? You looked at Jungkook, waiting for his answer. Jungkook's throat worked. His stare fell to the ground and then he nodded. Just a tiny nod, but it destroyed you. Everything inside you collapsed. You swallowed the crack in your voice. I'll, I'll wait in the car. You turned away before the tears could fall in front of them. You didn't run, you walked steadily, fighting every sob, trying to escape. The moment you sat in the passenger seat, your tears burst freely, silent, shaking, heartbroken. You pressed a hand against your mouth so he wouldn't hear your cry. His friends laughed again. So, a date with your student, huh? Ice cream, smooth Sean. Jungkook didn't laugh. His gaze stayed fixed on the car where you disappeared, the place where he saw your heartbreak. He looked at his ex. She looked hopeful, and suddenly Jungkook couldn't breathe. He didn't want her. He didn't want the past. He didn't want to be misunderstood again. This time he wanted to protect his future. Yes, I'm on a date with my student. The teasing increased. See, we always knew you liked younger girls. Jungkook cut him off. She's not just a student. They blinked, confusion replacing humor. His voice deepened, steady and certain. She's my wife. Jessica's smile faded. Wife, but she looks so young. She's younger and she's my wife. Don't disrespect her age or our relationship. No hesitation, no shame, no fear. For the first time since the marriage, he chose you. Jungkook gave a short bow, jaw tight. I'll go. She's waiting for me. He opened the door quietly. You quickly looked away, staring out the window, wiping tears fast like you could erase the evidence. Your sweetness, your sunshine gone, replaced by silence, a hurting silence. He placed the ice cream in your lap carefully. You didn't touch it. He stared at his hands, at you, then back at his hands. He hated himself in that moment. Slowly, tightly, his fingers curled into a fist. He whispered your name so softly, Vian. You didn't reply, and Jungkook realized he finally acknowledged his wife in front of the world. But he was already too late. Her heart had already broken. The rest of the drive felt like drowning in silence, no music, no words, just your breathing, uneven because you were holding back tears again. Every time Jungkook's eyes flickered your way, you turned your face even more toward the window, forehead resting against the glass so he couldn't see how broken you looked. His knuckles were white around the steering wheel. He kept stealing glances, wanting to say something but stopping himself because he knew this time he actually hurt you. When the car finally slowed in front of the house, you didn't even wait for the engine to stop. The moment the wheels held still, the door opened. You stepped out fast, ignoring him completely. He said your name quietly but urgently. Why and wait? You didn't. You walked straight to the door, keys shaking in your hand, and hurried inside before he could catch up. You didn't even take off your shoes properly. They scattered somewhere near the entrance as you rushed down the hallway. Your vision was blurry again because the image of him nodding when they asked if you were just his student wouldn't leave your mind. You pushed your bedroom door open and slammed it shut behind you. You sank onto the edge of the bed, covering your mouth as silent sobs hit you again. You thought getting married to him would mean something, but today proved you were living in a fantasy alone. Your door clicked softly. He followed, a hesitant knock. Wine, can I come inside? You didn't move, didn't answer. He tried again, voice lower and careful. Please, I need to talk to you. Still nothing. The door handle rattled, but he didn't force it. He just pressed his forehead against the wood. You heard his quiet exhale, and your tears fell harder. Everything had happened so fast. Your father's business was drowning, dad's piling up, your college tuition was about to be cut off, your family reputation was at stake, and Jungkook, Professor John Jungkook, he was the only one who stepped forward. Not because he was in love, but because your father saved his mother's life years ago and he owed him more than he could ever repay. Your father begged him. She's innocent, Jungkook. Don't let her suffer for my mistakes. Jungkook was cold about it at first, saying, she's 10 years younger than me. She's my student. This isn't right. Your father just silently cried, and that broke the unbreakable man. Jungkook dropped his guard, sighed, saying, if this saves your family, I'll take responsibility. You, meanwhile, you had always secretly liked him, admired him, created fantasies where he would call you his wife one day. So, when you were told you would marry your strict, cold, impossibly handsome professor, your heart actually said yes before your brain could think. But Jungkook, he married out of responsibility, not love. He made that clear the first day home. We keep this a secret at college. We act normal, you focus on studies, I'll handle the rest. It hurt, but you accepted it. At least you were his, even if he didn't want to be yours. You wiped your cheeks, trying to be silent, but maybe your sniffles were too loud. The door unlocked gently. Jungkook stepped inside, stopping a few feet away, like he was afraid he might break you further just by being close. His voice was soft, slower than usual. You left the car so fast, you didn't even take your ice cream. You stared at the floor, nothing from you. He tried again. Did you think I forgot you were there? You let out a tiny, sarcastic breath, not quite a laugh, not quite a sob. You told them I was your student. Why wouldn't I think that? Your voice cracked at the end, and you hated that he could hear it. Jungkook took a careful step closer. I wasn't trying to deny you. You looked up, eyes red, voice trembling with anger that wasn't loud but painful. Didn't even think twice. You hesitated before saying anything. That was enough. He clenched his jaw like the truth stung. He came closer still, sitting down on the bed beside you but not touching. I fixed it. You frowned. And you think saying a few words afterward make the pain disappear. I get it. You never wanted me. I was your responsibility. I told them the truth. That you are not just my student, that you are my wife. You froze, he continued, now looking right into your eyes. I didn't want anyone to look at you like you were just somebody I picked up. You are not that. You are someone I promised to protect. You blinked, tears still falling quietly. Then why did you not first? He breathed out a shaky exhale. Because I got scared. For a while, insecure, thinking what will they think if I tell them I marry a girl who is way younger than me. You stared. He rubbed his face with both hands, frustrated at himself. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to be a husband, and seeing you there looking at me like I matter to you, it scared me because I don't know if I deserve that. Your chest tightened. You didn't expect honesty, not from him. Another tear slipped down, this time not from anger, but from the unexpected truth sitting between you two. Jungkook looked exhausted, not physically but emotionally. He lowered his voice further. I know I hurt you, but don't ignore me. Punish me if you want. Just don't shut me out. Your breath stuttered because you didn't want to forgive him that easily. Not yet. I need a little time. Jungkook nodded instantly. No arguments. Take all the time you need, but I'm not going anywhere. He stood up slowly, walked to the door, and right before stepping out, he whispered, you're not a responsibility, Ryan. You are the only thing I want to take care of, even if I realized it too late. The door closed behind him, leaving you holding on to words that felt like the first crack in his cold walls.